Joining us on the program now from Christian Savings, Andy Milne. Andy, kia ora, nice to see you again.
Kia ora, Andrew. Great to be with you.
And nice to be the bearer of good news today. Well, you can't take too much credit for it apart from being the bearer of the news. This is a government initiative and it kicks in from the 1st of July. What's the details on this, Andy?
Cool. So it's called the government. It's a government scheme. It's called the Depositor Guarantee Scheme, or the Depositor Compensation Scheme.
Yep.
Basically, it covers everyone with term deposits, cash balances, those type of things. Covers everyone automatically, individuals and trusts up to $100,000
Wow.
in the very unlikely event of a bank failure. So if you're a depositor with cash in the bank, even just in a check savings account, term investment, that sort of thing, you're automatically covered by this scheme. You don't have to do anything. It's not a matter of opting in. You don't have to pay a fee to join. It's covered by a levy paid by the banks and finance companies involved.
I was going to say, who's going to pay for this? Because this sounds a little bit generous from the government, given their recent budget and all the other bills they have to pay at the moment. So this is levied from within the financial sector?
That's right. This is paid for by the banks, by the finance companies. It's an automatic scheme, so no one's incurring any costs other than the banks and finance companies that are providing it. In terms of the day-to-day impact, hopefully none.
Yep.
We, like any form of insurance, we hope that this is something that will never be called on or used. I guess it just gives investors just that little bit extra peace of mind that in the very unlikely event that something does go wrong, there is a level of protection there. And it's something that the government's introduced just to really bring us into line with international best practice. New Zealand was, up until now, one of the very few countries in the world that didn't have this level of consumer protection.
Yep.
And that's really the reason that it's been introduced. It's about best practice around consumer protection in the financial services space, rather than any necessarily perceptions of additional risk in New Zealand specifically.
And hey, that's good news for investors. It's also good news for the government in some ways, because certainly in the past there's been calls for bailouts of financial institutions that have got into difficulty, etc. I mean, you say this is unlikely, but we do have examples within living memory where this has gone wrong, where mum and dad investors have lost their life savings through financial institutions that have gone under, and then when they went to withdraw their savings, they thought, well, no, you're down a long list of creditors, and you're not going to get your investment back again, let alone any interest earned.
Well, that's true. I mean, I guess that's why the landscape has changed dramatically, thankfully, since the dark days of the GFC,
Yep.
Where all banks and non-bank deposit takers are regulated under a much different and much more stringent regulatory regime than in the old days. So, the level of oversight and compliance means that, hopefully those type of failures are less likely. Not impossible, of course, but this scheme does, as you say, offer that level of protection and takes that burden away from the government. Previous schemes have been paid for by the poor old taxpayer.
Yep.
Whereas this, as we said, is paid for by levy from the financial services institutions themselves.
Let's look at some of the consequences of this. Firstly, I suppose on the positive side, do you feel likely to encourage people to take out some more term deposits? It gives them perhaps more confidence to say, hey, I'm going to put my money in a financial institution, not going to take risks with so much with stock market and Bitcoin and various other ways that they could invest their money. This really gives people some security and confidence within the banking sector.
Well, arguably, I would argue that no, that security was always there.
Yep.
This doesn't change. This doesn't change the risk in that where the banking sector in New Zealand, the financial service sector is well regulated. We have one of the strongest sectors worldwide. So hopefully people don't feel that that there was a heap of risk with these investments already. But as you say, it does provide that extra layer of security. Just that peace of mind that when people do make the decision to invest, they've got that second level, that extra layer of support behind them.
Now, Christian Savings, of course, a financial institution. This, I'm sure, impacts you guys as well. Are you expecting more people to go more term deposits as a result of this legislation, or is this something that just financial nerds such as yourself, with respect, that this is the sort of thing that you will notice, and for most of us, we'll get on with it, and it won't affect our lives directly? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, in a nutshell, yes. As we all hope this means that no one will notice. It's like it's like a fire alarm or a fire extinguisher. Yeah, you have these safeguards in place, but hope to never use them. And no, we don't expect that that this is going to drive any particular increase in business to us. We'd love to see more people invest with Christian Savings, because that means that we can do more good for the kingdom of God.
Yep.
But I don't believe that this is just that extra level of protection for our depositors, for our investors beyond beyond that which already exists.
Lots of other good reasons to invest with Christian Savings, of course. On the other side of the ledger, though, and this is perhaps me being a little bit cynical, if banks and financial institutions suddenly have an extra expense, my lived experience is, and that will be passed on to the consumer. Can we expect, as a result of this, because there will be a cost to financial institutions of this type of protection mechanism, can we expect bank fees to go up, or will this just come out of the profits that some of the banks are earning at the moment?
It's a fair point. Any additional compliance, often it's often the end user that picks up the tab. But no, I don't believe that we're going to see any noticeable increase in costs or fees across the sector as a result of this. Generally speaking, the levies are not at a level where it should be noticeable.
Well, hey, good news all round, in which case, and hey, as we mentioned beforehand, lots of good reasons, including this one, to invest in Christian Savings. Andy, if people wanted to take a look at that as an option, if they've got a nest egg that they want to get a good return on, as well as build the kingdom of God, what's the next step? How do they find out more about getting involved?
Absolutely. I'd encourage anyone to jump on our website, which is christiansavings.co.nz. You can look at our investment options. You can look at the projects that we fund that your investments will support. You can download a product description statement that sets out all the information that you need to know.
Do encourage people to do that. christiansavings.co.nz. Andy, thanks for your work. Thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks, Andrew.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.